Okay, today we're making the most buttery, tender, melt-in-your-mouth shortbread cookies. They have that perfect crumbly texture, just the right amount of sweetness, and come together using a handful of simple ingredients that you probably already have at home. So to start off, you want to grab a large bowl and to it add in 170 grams or 3/4 of a cup of room temperature unsalted butter and half a teaspoon of salt. And using a hand or stand mixer on a medium speed, cream that for 3 minutes until it's light and fluffy. Next, you want to add in 33 grams or a 1/4 cup of whole milk powder. This is going to add great flavor to your cookies. 80 grams or 2/3 of a cup of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And again, mix on a medium speed until well combined. Now to finish off the dough, you want to add in 180 grams or 1.5 cups of plain all-purpose flour and then mix on a low speed until the mixture starts to clump together in the middle. You don't want to overmix, so once the mixture looks more like a cohesive dough as opposed to separate little chunks, then you want to stop there. Now just get any of the dough off of your attachments and then bring the dough together to form a ball, but without overworking or kneading the dough. So once that's done, you want to turn the dough out onto a piece of parchment paper and roll the dough out into a circle or rectangle, depending on the shape that you want, and you want it to be about 1/4 inch thick. Now, I like making rectangle shortbread cookies, and this was supposed to be more of a rectangle, but I ended up with a circle, which, is totally fine. You just want to do your best when it comes to rolling it out. So once you've rolled out your dough, transfer it to a tray by dragging the parchment paper onto a tray, and then chill the dough for 30 minutes. And while the dough is chilling, you also want to preheat your oven to 350 F or 180 C conventional. So 30 minutes later, grab your chilled dough and start cutting out the cookies in whichever shape that you like. I'm making rectangles, so I'm cutting a larger rectangle out first and then cutting smaller ones out from that so that I have those beautiful crisp edges. So once your cookies are cut out, you can either leave them as is or add some kind of pattern on the top. I like to prick a fork on the top of my shortbread cookies for that classic look. Now with any of the excess dough, simply bring it back together, roll it out, and cut out more cookies. Now if you find that the dough has softened too much while cutting out the cookies, then just pop it back into the fridge to firm up. So once all your cookies are cut out, transfer them to a tray, leaving a small gap between each cookie, and bake for 12 to 13 minutes or until lightly golden brown on the edges. I prefer my shortbread slightly brown on the edges for that perfect texture and taste, so you can leave them for a couple of extra minutes if you feel like they're a little too pale. So once the cookies look done, turn off the oven and leave the door ajar while you let the cookies slowly cool in the oven for 15 minutes before taking them out. This is just going to give them the most beautiful crispy edges and that classic crumbly texture. So once 15 minutes have passed, take the cookies out, transfer them to a wire rack to cool, and then you can dig right in. These shortbread cookies are honestly so incredibly buttery. They have the most wonderful flavor, and best of all, they have that classic crumbly melt in your mouth texture that you want from a shortbread cookie. So that is it for today, guys. If you do decide to give this recipe a go, then please do leave a review on our blog. It really helps our content out here at Cakes by MK, and I'll see you in the next video.